10 seconds. All right, so here we go. Of course, going to talk, it's just incredibly good news for Trump, and what's good for Trump is good for, of course, America and Western civilization. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I was off by a second.
1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, it sure is. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. It is Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. We've got a lot to cover today. I'm going to get into more detail about this as the show goes on, but President Trump has officially taken control of the RNC. And, you know, the RNC... that seems kind of like a boring thing to talk about. I understand. It seems a little cerebral. Who cares? You know, little academic. It's not. You know, the RNC being taken over by President Trump with Lara Trump as the co-chair, which means there's a direct representative at the senior level of the Trump family running the place, keeping an eye on everything, is the official defeat of the Republican establishment. And that's a big deal. You know, when President Trump ended his first term, they tried to convince him. When I say they, I'm talking about the uniparty snakes, many of them undercover, fake MAGA, but the Republican and Democrat establishment uniparty tried to get President Trump to start his own political party, a third party, the MAGA party. And if Trump would have started the MAGA party, I'd be there, and you guys would too, right? But Trump said no. He says we're going to take back the Republican Party. And they laughed at him. And now he's taking control of the RNC. The RNC is the headquarters of the Republican establishment. It's how everything is controlled everywhere. In every one of our 50 states and our territories. I don't know how many territories there are off the top of my head. Anyone know how many U.S. territories there are? Doesn't matter. And the RNC, they control everything through the money. And they don't just control who runs in Congress and for governor with RNC money. They control local elections too. And that's how they maintain their power, because when a member of Congress, as an example, it can be any government official, but when a member of Congress, for example, doesn't play ball, they just do a simple move. You don't get funding from the RNC when you're up for re-election, and you're done. And President Trump broke the RNC by bankrupting them. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, someone should make a movie about this. Maybe they will one day, the Trump takeover of the RNC. It's kind of like that late night battle between Leno and Letterman back in the day when they were both fighting to get The Tonight Show. That was a pretty good movie, by the way, that they did on that. TV movie. Kathy Bates played Jay Leno's agent. And that's what's happened here. He broke them financially. Because President Trump started saying quite some time ago, donate money directly to me, not the RNC. And then what happened? The RNC started defaulting. They went broke. And Trump came in and has taken it over. So the Republican establishment leadership headquarters has fallen and is now under MAGA control. And that's huge. I mean, that is... why do you think Mitch McConnell is stepping down? It's because Trump took over the RNC. And that doesn't mean that the Republican establishment have given up and accepted things, that Trump's the future and all that, but they've been defeated. Big defeat. This is a major defeat. And probably when it comes to Trump draining the swamp, taking over the RNC is probably his biggest swamp draining move ever. It's been a complete success. the level of it is really beyond measure of how much power. Because the Republican establishment, most of their power, almost all of their power, comes through the RNC, which they lost. It's huge, huge. You know, and it's the beginning of very good things, very good things. Now, with all that being said, it's important to understand that the establishment has not surrendered, given up, or been converted to MAGA. They're going to be out there each and every day still trying to stop Trump. And there's some things that they're pulling this morning that I'm going to get into as time goes on. But this really is, taking over the RNC is part of the Trump miracle. And one of the reasons we had a difficult time getting a Speaker of the House, and we still don't have an adequate Speaker of the House, was because of the RNC. They go to all those House members and threaten to cut off their RNC funding. And Rick Scott, who's the other senator from Florida, he was our governor before DeSantis. He's head of the Senate committee that does all the fundraising and all of that for the Republicans. So we've got control, and he's MAGA. He can be trusted, Rick Scott. So we have one, think about this. When I say we, I mean Trump and MAGA. Trump and MAGA have control of almost 100% of the Republican establishment fundraising power through these organizations. So that they've really been broken, and they've been broken pretty hard. Now, with that being said, also the fact that Lara Trump is there is very good, but this is something you got to be careful of, because what they're going to do, and you've seen this happen before with Wayne LaPierre and others at the NRA, what they're going to do now is start to go after her and anyone she brings in. And they're going to be monitoring every penny that is raised and every penny that is spent. And they're going to try to find Lara Trump and people around her involved in something that's not kosher financially. Now, of course, they're not going to do anything that's illegal or inappropriate, but that doesn't mean there are not going to be accusations. I mean, look at this stuff with E. Jean Carroll and Trump. You know. By the way, I saw E. Jean Carroll's threatening to sue Trump for libel again. How many times are you allowed to sue someone for libel over the same thing? I don't understand. You could just sue every day? Is this just something you could do? You could just go and sue every day or every couple of weeks the same person for the same thing? Since when? Anybody think about that? But there's a lot of things we're going to cover today, plus take your calls. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I have some new polls that I'm going to go through, and there's a major fake news story that's being promoted today. I was very happy to see that most people agreed with me on George Stephanopoulos' treatment yesterday that we were talking about with Nancy Mace, and even Megyn Kelly, who's a snake and cannot be trusted. Remember what Trump said over the weekend? She pretends to like him, and that's true. She's fake MAGA. She loves Ron DeSantis and Walmart Melania. But even Megyn Kelly, I was very pleasantly surprised. She got into what I got into, although I did it first. She got into what I got into about how George Stephanopoulos spent his entire career, starting with the Clintons, discrediting or attempting to discredit sexual assault victims. I was very glad to hear her do that. That was pretty amazing. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take our first break, and we'll get into the news, into some more detail, and take your calls. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now.
All right, where am I?
This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
The Sloman's free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation is here. I'm Scott Shannon. How would you like to get a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell camera. We get them for everyone but the first 40 true oldies listeners who call 833-283-5050 will get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation
All right.
So you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, motion detector, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 true oldies listeners that call 833-283-5050, you'll get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. So call Sloman's right now for this limited time offer, 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
I don't understand. I had something I can't find. I'll find it. Something I wanted to get into.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. I am pleased to say our relationship with the Steve Kane Show and the show's listeners keeps getting stronger and stronger. The Steve Kane Show listeners are truly the best customers we have ever had.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
Courteous, intelligent, honest, and quite a joy to work.
I'm going to get into
We
this
have completed
first fake news story that they're promoting on Trump.
large HOA
And then
complexes
I'll
and
start
churches
taking
with
calls.
great success, and every one of those customers are like family. We have installed all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingles, clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. So come on and let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportacontracting.com. The number again is 954-604-4602.
All right, here we go.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. Callers on hold, stand by. I got a message from a listener, and I wanted to share with you. It's about Mike Lindell and My Pillow. Listen to this. This is Rodney, and Rodney, when I read this, you'll know it's you. And this was just written to me, last night. I love My Pillow from Mike Lindell. I want to call the show and tell you about My Pillow. I love it. 18 years I couldn't sleep with a pillow. Now I can. First time in 18 years. You know, the My Pillow that started it all, which we don't talk about as much because, you know, we just kind of is amazing. I remember when I got the first My Pillow, I come on, I'm like a pillow. You know, that patented fill inside not only is incredibly comfortable, it stops your head from moving at night. You don't toss and turn. Every time you toss and turn, you interrupt your sleep. It's like having sleep apnea. And, you know, the My Pillow that started it all, the original My Pillow, and you can get it in any fill level you want. Soft, hard, firm, medium, you know. I have them of each because I like to rotate them around. But the My Pillow that started it all with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, is just $29.98 plus free shipping with our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E at checkout, because it's free shipping site-wide on all My Pillow products with our promo code Kane at checkout. But the classic My Pillow that started it all, just $29.98. It's normally $49.98, so it's $20 off, and it's an amazing pillow with our promo code Kane at checkout. So thanks, Rodney. I appreciate it and glad you're sleeping well. All right, now before we move on, I'll take some calls, but there's a lot of stories we are going to cover on the program today. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Montana, Mark.
Oh, hey, Mark.
You know, that was an answered prayer listening about the RNC, because a bunch of little victories makes one big one. And it's kind of like Hoover Dam. It's just a little bit at a time, but
Yep.
victory.
No, it's huge. No, this is huge. You know, because the Trump family has taken over the RNC, which is the entire fundraising apparatus of the Republican establishment. That is not a small victory. That is a major victory, second only to winning back the White House. It's huge.
So that's kind of like having a master key to the solutions.
That's right. Well, you know what they say, he who, what is it? He who owns the gold makes the rules, or something like that. He who has the gold makes the rules. Is that how the saying goes?
But you know, when I saw your thumbnail, that was like a beautiful sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Well, Montana Mark, I appreciate it. Thank you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
You know, two things with this. Ronald McDaniel, coming down to the end, had a little bit of corruption that was swirling about her. And two, you know, we all know that Trump liked to endorse people, right? And there were times when there were a great number of endorsements that because it's Trump, that was coming from Trump, those people didn't get the money from the RNC that they deserved.
That's right.
You know, and for instance, if Trump would have endorsed Steve Kane for some office and he didn't get the money, Steve Kane...
Well, you know, what the RNC is supposed to do is raise money to get Republicans elected. And really what the RNC has been doing since Trump came down the escalator is taking donations and stopping Republicans from getting elected, trying to lose elections. And these people like Ronna McDaniel probably voted for Joe Biden. Let's face it, right? You think she voted for Trump? Give me a break. And she's going to vote for Biden this time for sure. You know, so the Republican Party establishment that controlled the RNC until the Trump family took it over, their concern was maintaining control of the Republican Party. And to maintain control of the Republican Party, they had to lose elections. They couldn't let MAGA take over. That's right. That's why we have such a slim majority in the House. And now that problem's been taken care of.
That problem's been taken care of. And furthermore, you know, George Santos is running for office again.
Oh, yeah. You know, that guy, he's got a lot of nerve where he showed up to the State of the Union. I like George Santos. He still should be a member of Congress. There's no reason why he was run out.
And I will bet you that Trump will, when he goes to do his rally up in New York, he will endorse George Santos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. All right, I appreciate the call, Mike. Take care. Now, before we move on to the other stories, I want to talk about Haiti for a minute. You know, Haiti is... I know they're telling you that there's complete anarchy in Haiti. It's a complete collapse. Haitians are going to come across the southern border. Florida's going to get flooded with Haitians. I've got some news for you. Haiti has always been in anarchy on the verge of collapse. This is just a normal day in Haiti. I'm sorry to tell you. And what's going on here with the left, they love this stuff. Okay, and I was talking when this problem first got in the news in Haiti. I don't know, was it last week, the week before? I really don't pay attention to Haiti, all right? If you notice, the cruise ships don't go to Haiti. They go to the Dominican Republic next door, but not Haiti, because it's a dangerous anarchy that is run by warlords, and it always has been as far as I've been following it. Now, that being said, Haitians here, we have a lot of Haitians in Florida, and Haitians are great. They typically are conservative. I have no problem with Haitians. But what's going on here is the political establishment see two benefits with Haiti being in the news, which has always been, it's been an anarchy forever. You know, there's been some periods where they've had a dictator running it and such, but it's been an anarchy, and it will be for years to come. Nothing's going to happen to fix or change Haiti. It's just the way it is. Okay, but the political class, you're going to see a lot of promotion of Haiti for two reasons. One, like I detailed last time we talked about this, they see it as an opportunity to pollute, to just rape Haiti of anything they can through U.S. financial aid. And all the financial aid that goes to Haiti is tied to donors, and they're going to loot Haiti like they did last time. I said plute. I meant plunder. I was trying to say plunder and loot at the same time, and I said plute. They're going to plunder and loot Haiti. And I use the pirate references since it's in the Caribbean. So that's one. Second, if you notice, they keep talking about Haitians at the southern border. Well, Haiti's not that close to the United States, but Haitians have been coming to Florida by boat since I can remember, and they're trying to use the Haitian crisis as a way to cause more disruption at the southern border and try to float this false narrative that the southern border is humanitarian relief for people that are fleeing these other things. That's all. That's all it is. And to sum it up with one word, what Haiti is a distraction. I feel very sorry for Haiti. I feel sorry for the people in Haiti. What they must live through, I don't even want to know. And this is not because of the earthquake, which was, I can't believe the earthquake was 14 years ago. Haiti was like this before the earthquake, okay? In fact, I mean, there was a sad loss of life during the earthquake, but it didn't look that different before or after, okay? And that it's really sad. I mean, it's in the Caribbean, and Florida is considered by many to be a part of the Caribbean, and there shouldn't be an island in the Caribbean where it's like that, but that's the way it is. But don't let this distraction get in the way of seeing what's important, and what's important is re-electing Trump. Now, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take more calls, and there's a lot of news stories we're going to break down on the program today as well. My name is Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Don't forget, early voting in Florida in the Republican primary is here. There's only one thing to vote on, at least here in Palm Beach County. Maybe it's different in different counties, but in Palm Beach County, all we had on the Republican primary ballot was president. So I voted for President Trump on Sunday, and you should too. Early voting. I enjoy the excitement of Election Day, but vote early. Get your vote in. We need to swamp them, okay? They're all these losers that have dropped out of the race are still in it against Trump. So we need to have a massive, massive turnout for Trump. He's going to win, of course, but we want to win by as much as possible. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
We'll be back shortly, guys. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is our bottom of the hour break. You know, traffic, weather, and all that stuff.
Are you feeling the way you know you should be? This is John, CFO at Lighthouse Medical Center. Hormone optimization therapy programs that help so many people get back to feeling the way they did in their 20s. They're full of energy after a long day, reducing the risk of heart disease, sexual vigor and excitement, great, sleeping the way they should without disturbances, and reducing their symptoms of aging. Our all-natural hormone optimization therapy is precise, easy, and effective from day one. Office visits are usually less than 5 times per year, and the cost is only $150 per month for most patients.
We'll be back right after this commercial. 20 seconds.
Your best life. Our family medical practice has been serving South Florida for over 71 years. Let us show you what personalized medical care and being treated like family feels like. Call us at 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. Or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today. Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years.
All right, we are back. We'll go to the phones. I'll take the calls in the order in which they were received, which is easier to do the earlier in the show we are in. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, hi, good morning. This is Rod over Coconut Creek.
Hey, Rod, what's up?
Hey, listen, you may recall this about the RNC a few years ago. This is before Trump. And the RNC back then was still just a total disaster. But people were quitting and walking out of the doors of the RNC headquarters crying because Republicans were calling the RNC and telling them, they're sending them emails, what have you. They weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
This is before Trump. Do you remember that story? I mean,
Vaguely, yeah. I remember when in 2010 when the Tea Party had a big election and all these Tea Party people like Alan West got elected, the RNC tried to plug chiefs of staff into all those congressional offices and take them over. The RNC is was a sleazy place.
yeah. Well, I think we got a chance. We got to concentrate on what Trump must win.
Oh yeah.
Must win.
Oh, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. That's all there is.
America will have fallen.
Yep, exactly. And it doesn't. You don't have to agree with Trump on everything. You know, there's no two people agree 100%.
I agree with Trump 100% on everything. I've never heard him say anything I disagree with. But that's okay. You don't have to agree with him 100%. Just vote for him.
Yeah, that's right. And it's going to be tough. You know, the Democrats are going to do everything. The news media will do everything. But if people stick together, look with forward, you know, I disagree with Trump on some points, but, you know, he's been the best president of my life.
Absolutely.
And I'm 75 years old. One other thing, our good friend Stephanopoulos.
Yep.
You remember when he went to the homecoming party for Jeffrey Epstein, the getting out of jail party?
Really? No, I didn't know about that. Really?
Check it out, Brian. Check it out. Don't take my word for it. Check it out.
Would some of the Epstein girls have a midget fetish? that he was there to satisfy? All right, take care, man. Thanks for the call from Coconut Creek. All right, the thing about Coconut Creek, I go to Coconut Creek sometimes, and I'll drive down Coconut Creek Parkway. You go 441 is where Coconut Creek Parkway ends, and it ends at the Turnpike, because when you go over the Turnpike, all of a sudden it's strip clubs and the Broward County Stockade. But that area of that Coconut Creek Parkway area of Coconut Creek looks the way today that it did in 1990, 91. I used to work over there. I used to work at the Publix. When I first started in radio, I'd get off the air and then go to Publix, and I worked at the Publix on Coconut Creek Parkway. And I remember it was Publix Store 110. I remember the name. And I didn't work there too long after I started in radio. But the first 6 months I worked in radio, I worked at that Publix. But every time I go over there, it's like deja vu. I'll call my wife and I said, I think I've time traveled to 1991 over here. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? I hit the wrong line. Okay, there you go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie, the bus driver. What's up?
I don't think it's a distraction, Eddie, at all. I don't think you see the picture here.
Oh, okay.
Explain to you. Here we go. And back when the Cuban refugees came, the Mario boat lift, the year after, the Haitians came to Florida in boatloads, literally. I mean, you could see over the Danger Bridge. They used to just throw the
I remember
boats there. They didn't know.
The Haitians would come here sometimes through the Bahamas first, but they would come here sometimes on inner tubes and things like that.
You see 30, 40 of them hitting the beach in the Hollywood days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember those days. Yep.
And Miami. Here's the deal. There's two main Haitian areas that I know of in Florida, folks, and that's Broward County and Miami. And if you go to Orlando, you have a lot of Puerto Ricans. They all have one thing in common. They're stronghold Democratic sections.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Now you got the Democrats basically welcoming the new arrivals or whatever.
The newcomers. Don't call them illegals.
Now the only reason why you don't see Haitians all over the place coming in boatloads here, and you know this, but you're gonna even on the cruise, the Florida Straits in the wintertime here. The seas with the fronts that come through, seas are terrible. When you come to the middle of May and June, the seas level off and be calm. In the summer, you're going to see so many Haitians coming into Florida, you don't even know what the hell to do with them. And it's a big burden on Florida because the most 90% of them have no education. They're primitive. I'm sorry to say it.
Nah, I don't think you're going to get a wave of Haitians like we had in the past. They want to say, they say everyone that comes across the border is Venezuelan because they get a waiver because of the. How do you know they're Venezuelan? And we've been hearing a lot of stories of bringing Africans over, which are black people, through the southern border. Now all of a sudden, everyone who's black across the southern border, even if they're from Somalia, they'll say they're Haitian.
Well, but they're going to be welcomed here by the Democrats.
Oh, yeah.
You got to understand.
Everyone is welcome. Listen, the Democrats welcome everyone in America except Americans.
Yeah, now I want to talk about this RNC and the vote thing. I saw something very unusual. I don't think you know this. Folks, there's a lady that did an investigation, and I saw her interviewed by an attorney on television. I mean, it's shocking to me. If they're stealing our...
Mm.
If you don't contribute to a party or to the Republican Committee or Democrat, you know what they're doing? They're looking at who doesn't contribute.
Yeah.
And they're contributing money in your living people that don't even know their name.
Yeah, I've seen that story. Yeah.
$100, and they can do it.
Yeah. It's a way around the campaign finance laws. Yeah. Yeah, the Democrats have been doing this for a long time. Yeah, I know.
Well, you know about that. It's really bad. And that's what George Stephanopoulos, it was on TV last night. He said, he even wrote it in his book. He should have done more research on Epstein, but he was He was at his mansion and everything else. Yeah.
Oh, please. You know, the thing about, you know, no. I know he was there, but I didn't know he was at the big coming home party thing he did. I don't know. You know, I did a YouTube video up in Palm Beach, and this was a few months ago. By the way, thanks for the call, Richie. And I was in front of Epstein's house. Now, they've torn down the house, and it's a new house now. But I was on that street, and the street is just creepy. It's like a haunted street in the middle of the day in the Florida sunshine. It's just a creepy, creepy street. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Roz. How are you?
Hey, Roz. How you doing?
Okay. Listen, I agree with President Trump 100%. And I've seen, and I agree with your wife, Kathy, he has changed so much. He's like a kinder, calmer person. And I watched his speech, and he is completely open and honest about everything. He told the truth about what they're doing. I already know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Democrats are so stupid. I mean, the things, instead of helping Americans, they want to help everybody and their brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm disappointed in Mike Johnson, because I watched that speech that Biden gave, and all it was is a hate speech against us. And then he had the nerve to talk about a Snickers bar.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And you know, Mike Johnson doesn't have to be there. I would not sit behind Biden on TV like that. It's almost like an endorsement. He didn't have to be there. He's not required to be there. He could have protested. I don't think any of the Republicans should have gone to this. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene did do something good, but no, I wouldn't sit there behind him, and I wouldn't sit next to Kamala.
No, and I couldn't believe that everything that he said, these Democrats were standing and applauding him.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Because when the Democrats, that applause, what they heard was not applause, but cash registers of money that they're looting from the National Treasury by everything that they're doing, right? They're all corrupt.
So, yes, they are, and they're so bad. And I have a girlfriend of 40 years who thinks Obama was the best president, and I've tried to talk to her about Trump, and we've gotten fights. One time she told me, "Oh, Trump is crazy," and I hung up the phone on her. We didn't.
Why does she think he's crazy?
I don't know. She just doesn't like him. She said the only good thing he ever did was provide the shot.
Well, what about the millions of babies that have been born because he overturned Roe v. Wade?
Oh, she believes in abortion. I don't. I've always been against abortion. When I got pregnant, I have only one daughter, like you guys, and everybody told me, "You're too young." I was 19. They're like, "Get an abortion," and I said no, because I trusted God, and I believe in God, and I believe in life. And I saw pictures of abortion, what they do. And they do it now up to the 9th month.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find it right on the computer. And I told my girlfriend this. She goes, "Oh, I don't believe you." I said, "Go look on the computer."
Mm-hmm.
Lying.
Yeah.
You know what?
So your friend probably had an abortion. That's why she's so, emotional about it.
I don't know. She got raped by a couple of people.
There you go.
And she has some kind of trauma about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you know what? If I would have listened to people, I would have never had anybody in my life. And my daughter has been a godsend, because like I told you, I have health issues as well. And my daughter's been there for me 100%.
Mm-hmm.
We lived together. She's married. It was funny. As she was getting married, I was getting divorced. Divorced. I'm almost there at that point. I told you about that. He cheated on me.
Mm-hmm.
I threw him out.
How long ago was that?
I've been separated for 5.5 years, believe it or not.
Oh, my goodness. Why are you still married? You want his Social Security when he dies or something?
No. I already have disability.
Mm.
No, the reason is we both got two goofy lawyers, and we're waiting on 2 papers to sign. A revision of the document of our divorce, our agreement, and an affidavit.
Well, divorce attorneys are the sleaziest attorneys of all. They drag out everything. Listen, I got to run, Roz. Take care. Stay married to that loser, and you get his Social Security when he dies. It's probably greater than yours. You know what? Let's take our break. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hi, it's Steve DeSmith from Will Floor You. Your choices for new flooring have never been more diversified. Here at Will Floor You, our sales folks can guide you down the right path and lead you to the right floor tailored to your design style, practicality, and always at the very best value for all your hard-earned dollars. Vortex Luxury Vinyl Planks and Tiles checks off all those boxes. It's the original 100% waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof flooring. Features superior scratch resistance, realistic wood and tile visuals of travertine, stone, wide French oak, traditional hickory, and a Florida favorite, sunwash tones. There's a special look to fit your personal style for your entire home or office. The newest innovation is Soft Snap attached underlayment, made from 100% recycled materials for its warmth and comfort underfoot and superior sound reduction. So for the perfect balance of style, softness, and simplicity, it's always Cortec. So visit Will Floor You in Jupiter at the corner of Indiantown Road and alternate A1A next door to Publix, in Stewart on Federal Highway and Monroe Street just south of Walmart, and Will Floor, the letter U, FLA.com.
Will Floor You, flooring folks for over 40 years. When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I have broken tooth. He fixed it with special dental. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
International Boat Show.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel old. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West LA and hormone replacement pellet therapy.
I'm not sure. I've got so many things to talk about today. Have I ever? I don't think I've told most of you. Probably don't know about Baby Precious.
And women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone, night sweats gone. I've been listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, and when I first meet him, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet him again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy, and they have their energy back, just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel years younger. Now, it's always a free consultation with Dr. Matez. You heard about him on the radio. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
Do you have questions about retirement? Hi, it's Kathy Green, co-host of the Jupiter Joe Money Show. Tune in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 7:30 a.m. to the Jupiter Joe Money Show. We answer all kinds of questions about retirement right here on your True Oldies channel.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, the Steve Kane Show.
All right. Welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You know, before we get back to Trump and the presidential stuff, we used to do a lot of shows on abortion. We don't so much anymore because we've won the issue. President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, which was an amazing thing. But we used to do a lot of shows on abortion. And we used to have, this is before, there was YouTube and stuff. This is a long time. It's the longest running radio show, so, been around for a while. You may have heard me talk about our cable access TV show. Have I ever told you about Baby Precious? You ever heard about Baby Precious? Oh, this is crazy. We had a cable access TV show for 10 years. And I've got every episode on VHS tape. That's how long it was, in a box at home. And it was one of the most controversial television shows in the history of cable access television. And we did things that no one else ever did or will do or we would probably even be able to do many of these things today. But one of them, we used to have this guy on. He was an attorney for Planned Parenthood, and we used to have the Planned Parenthood people on that ran, and we would have people on that ran the local Planned Parenthood abortion places, and we'd have them in, and Steve and I would go against them, and we'd have pro-life people on and things like this on the radio all the time. And we've won that issue. President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, which I believe will be his greatest accomplishment ever out of both terms. That's just an amazing thing, because millions of lives, millions and millions of lives, hundreds of millions at some point, maybe even billions of lives, will have been born and lived because of President Trump over the course of history. But anyway, we had a debate set up with this Planned Parenthood attorney in our television studio, and we used to film this at a broadcasting school, the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Does the Connecticut School of Broadcasting still exist? They had the Connecticut School of Broadcasting had a school in Davie on University Drive, south of the Costco over there and stuff. And we did this show. We had this Planned Parenthood attorney on. I can't remember who the pro-life person was that we had in studio. But Steve and I knew about Baby Precious. And this was crazy. This is something no one's ever done before. And what happened with Baby Precious was crazy. Baby Precious was a baby that was aborted and was medically sealed in a medical jar of formaldehyde. And Baby Precious was, I can't remember how many months, 4 or 5 months, something like this. And there was a local pro-life group, Right to Life Broward or something, at one of the local churches connected to D. James Kennedy. And they had Baby Precious. So I called them up and said, hey, we're doing this cable access TV show. We've got this lunatic person from Planned Parenthood coming on our TV show. Can I borrow Baby Precious? And so what we did, this is crazy. Baby Precious was in this perfectly sealed jar. And by the way, Baby Precious is my age. Was born about a month apart from when I was born. And we put Baby Precious in a. We were on set. We had the Planned Parenthood monster there. We had a pro-life person, and we're under Steve's chair in a gift bag because we wanted to disguise it. We had Baby Precious in this jar, and Steve asks the pro-life person to describe an unborn child, a fetus, at 5 months old. Eyebrows, fingers, toenails, etc. And the Planned Parenthood guy says that's not true, there's none of these things. And then at that point, Steve goes under his chair. This was on television here in South Florida. It's crazy. And brings out the gift bag and takes out of the bag Baby Precious in this jar of formaldehyde. And of course, we had spotted this, we had blocked out everything, and there was a camera with a close-up. So we had a split screen. On the left side, it was Baby Precious, and on the right side, it was Steve and this Planned Parenthood person. The look on that guy's face, I thought he was going to vomit. And then Steve went through the eyelashes, the fingernails, the toenails. It was amazing television. I have this show I have a few tapes of it in a box with all the other shows. And then when the show was over, the pro-life group, they folded, and I couldn't find them. So I had Baby Precious. And I didn't know what to do with Baby Precious. So I had to keep Baby Precious because this is a baby. And I tried to find some of the pro-life people, but I didn't know what to do with baby Precious, so I had this baby in this jar. And at the time, my wife and I, we lived in a condo in Plantation, and what I ended up doing is, after a while, I put baby Precious on the top shelf of the closet when you first walked into my house. Then my daughter, this was before my daughter was born, then my daughter was born, and my wife is like, you've got to get rid of that baby. We got 2 babies in this house now. You got to get rid of that baby. And I said, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Then we bought our house in Boca. And during the window between the time when we lived in our condo and moved into our house, my wife said, we're not taking baby Precious to Boca. You got to do something. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. What do I do? So I told the story on the air. And you know that old lady that calls in that's 90-something years old, Doris? Doris called in, and she said, Brian, we're gonna take baby Precious, and she set this whole thing up. She said, my priest is going to have a funeral for baby Precious, and we're going to bury baby Precious. So Doris, who calls in sometimes, she's 90-something years old. She took baby Precious. Her priest had a funeral for baby Precious, and they buried baby Precious on church grounds at a Catholic church. I'm not going to tell you which one in Broward County. And I had baby Precious for like years, and I remember Pastor Bob Coy from Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale, used to fill in for us sometimes. And every time he would fill in, Steve went to Calvary Chapel at the time. I didn't go to Calvary. I never really went to I went to Calvary Chapel on occasion, but I didn't go there regularly. Went to another church. And every time Pastor Bob Coy would fill in for Steve, all the callers that hate us would call in and tell Pastor Bob any scummy thing they could think about us, to try to soil our connection with Pastor Bob. And I remember every time he'd fill in, someone would call in and say, Brian's got a dead baby in his closet. And he'd be what? And I'd have to tell him the story about baby Precious and all this stuff. But, baby Precious, that was something else. So Doris, who calls in all the time, arranged for that funeral. And that was a big weight lifted because I had baby Precious for at least 5 years before we could have a proper funeral. Because what do you do with a baby in a situation like that? It's crazy. This is a crazy business I'm in, guys, okay? This is not a normal job that I have. But, yeah. So since President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, there's been over 100,000 babies born that would not have been born. And those babies are going to grow up and have babies. And so, and you compound that year after year, how many people will be born just in the next 5 years because President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade? And I don't think he really gets proper credit for that. They want to say the Supreme Court overturned it. Well, technically, the Supreme Court did overturn Roe v. Wade. But who put justices on the Supreme Court who would do it? Donald Trump. All the other Republicans always talked about overturning Roe v. Wade. None of them did anything to do it. I didn't even think it was possible until Trump did it. Now, I want to tell you guys about Jupiter Joe Thomas, our retirement advisor here at True Oldies. He's offering these free phone consultations, which is an absolutely amazing thing. No matter where you are in the country, you can take advantage of the free phone consultation. You want to talk to him about annuities. With annuities, unlike the stock market, you're not risking your money. The super rich, they don't risk their money. Their nest egg is their nest egg. They don't risk that. And you won't either with an annuity. And you're guaranteed income when you retire. Sounds like a pretty good thing. Who is retired and cannot use another income stream on top of your pension, on top of your Social Security? Maybe you don't even have a pension. Well, your annuity is in effect a pension. A good buddy of mine sold his house. It was paid for. He put all the money in an annuity. Pretty good deal. Now he's got money coming in every month. He's very excited. Give Joe Thomas a call. His number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. Take advantage of this free phone consultation. If you missed his number, 561-743-0999, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. All right, jupiterjoe.com. Yeah, thank you, Doris, for taking care of baby Precious. It was a beautiful thing she did. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back right after this.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Thick Canals Media Group. Your home for the
Huh?
I went there, CSB.
Oh, yeah, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, yeah.
And then they actually were bought. There's still a broadcasting school, but like it has like more things added to it now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's still now. There's one right down the street on US 1.
Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
A broken down vehicle sits on the right shoulder.
Oh, Treasure Life remembers Baby Precious. Oh, my goodness.
And their free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation offer is here. Yep, finally some great news. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you can get a doorbell camera. The first 40 true oldies listeners who call 833-283-5050 will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone. Installation of your slow-in shield. And that's not all. SolarWinds will give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 true oldies listeners to call 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with installation of your slow-in shield. Keep your family safe. Call 833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050.
Cruising boats, fishing boats, summer yachts. Find them all at the Palm Beach International Boat Show. Climb aboard the perfect boat for your lifestyle. Save with boat show pricing and incentives. Palm Beach International Boat Show, March 21st to 24th, pbboatshow.com. Here's your true oldies ABC News Update.
Macho, scheduled to be in Washington today. Forces favor chief of social media would meet with members of Congress. Federal law enforcement is giving a classified briefing about TikTok for House members. City citizens are familiar with ABC News. House Republicans moving forward with a bill to require TikTok's Chinese parent company to sell the app to an American company or face a ban. ABC's Chuck Sievertson. Ariel Henry says he'll quit as acting Prime Minister of Haiti once a transitional presidential council is established. He leaves the street gangs in control of about 80% of the country. The World Food Kitchen International Charity announced its aid ship has set sail from Cyprus bound for Gaza with about 200 tons of food. Test the opening of a sea corridor to supply aid to Gaza where hunger is spreading. This is ABC News.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent's due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, Go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. You know, I was just listening to the story at the top of the hour news about TikTok. TikTok is, everyone knows this, is Japanese spyware, and it is also the tool of propaganda to undermine our society that China has out there. And they're trying to put an American company in charge of it. What good's that going to do? You know, I've been banned for life from TikTok. I've mentioned this before. I was on TikTok for about 4 days, and in 4 days, I had over 100,000 followers on TikTok. I was live streaming the show on TikTok, and I would do live streams at home sometimes, and the audience on TikTok is pretty vile, let me tell you. But I was talking to people in the chat room, and I was wearing my MAGA hat, you know, and someone said, why is a MAGA guy like you on TikTok? Trump says it's Chinese spyware. And I said, what better way to talk to the CCP than through TikTok? The instant I said that, I got my feed was cut, and I was banned from TikTok forever, for life. And it was like they had some guy in the Chinese CCP headquarters in Beijing watching me and just hit a button. That was it. But here's the thing about TikTok, and I've talked about this many times, and as many times as I've warned you all about it, you know, I don't think I've gotten one call anytime I brought up TikTok about TikTok, but I'm going to share this with you right now, okay? TikTok is dangerous beyond measure. First off, it is 100% Chinese spyware. And you may say to yourself, well, I don't have it, so they're not spying on me. If someone has TikTok, this is what it does, okay? It takes everything off. If you have TikTok on your phone, right, it takes everything off your phone, whatever is there, and monitors everything you do. But you don't have TikTok, so you don't care. I don't have TikTok. If someone has TikTok on their phone, and they're not even using the app, and they're connected to the same Wi-Fi network that you're connected to, the Chinese got all your intel on your phone too. That's right. Do you know on my cell phone I never engage in Wi-Fi ever? Never use Wi-Fi anywhere. Right now I'm live streaming on YouTube every day on my iPhone, not on Wi-Fi. And so, like, if I were, like, for example, if I was on Wi-Fi right now here at the radio station, and Mike, our board op, had TikTok on his phone, the Chinese would have everything on my phone. That's how detailed it is. Okay. So, and what do they? Well, so what? What's on my phone? Everything about you. The Chinese through TikTok have collected information that will never on every American through TikTok. The other thing it's done, so that's one big problem, okay? So it makes their cyber attacks easier. The other thing about TikTok, you know, back in the days of like Air America Radio or Radio Free America, I'm not talking about that liberal failed network that Rachel Maddow and Al Franken were on when that free radio thing that the United States had for years, broadcasting across the Iron Curtain. Tucker Carlson's dad worked for that, which probably means his dad's CIA, but Radio Free America, I believe it was called. That was nothing compared to what TikTok is. I have talked about this so many times on the show, and no one seems to want to get involved in this, but I'm still going to do it. I don't care. Then we'll get back to Trump. But the Chinese are using TikTok to drive things in this country in the direction they want them to drive them in. The biggest example is all this gender weirdness that's going on. It's all done through TikTok. Like when on TikTok, if you go on TikTok, you will see people that are, some kid that works at Walmart will have 10 million followers on TikTok. If he's non-binary or trans or something. So what the Chinese do through TikTok, all young people care about are how many subscribers they have, how many followers they have, how many likes they have, how many shares they have. That's all they care about. So what the Chinese do with TikTok is, okay, we want to destroy the military age recruitment population of the United States. Anyone who's involved in transgenderism all of a sudden gets 5 to 10 million followers on TikTok. So what does that do? It causes a trend. It causes a fad. Now all of a sudden, all these young people that want to be popular on social media, all of a sudden they're non-binary or whatever, and they have 10 million followers on TikTok. That's how this whole gender thing started through the Chinese. It was a Chinese psych op on TikTok. Now, I'm not a conspiracy person. Alex Jones and these people are conspiracy people. I'm not. And I know this sounds crazy to a lot of people. And this is just one of many things that they do using TikTok. And turning TikTok over to an American company, you think the Chinese aren't? It's like Eric Swalwell with his honeypot, Fang Fang. Oh, yeah. He's not with her anymore. You don't think they're still in Eric Swalwell's business? Of course they are. Of course he's still working for them. They're in all of his business. And you think it's just, I want you to think about this. I was shocked to find this out. When Hunter had a press conference a few months ago, he was there with his best friend, Eric Swalwell. So Eric Swalwell, who the CCP had an agent having sex with him, they were also spying on his dad and everything else. Eric Swalwell's an agent for China. He just happens to be best friends with the son of the current president of the United States. And no one ever talks about this. The Chinese, out of all the people I've ever known in my life, the most intelligent people I've ever known my entire life since I was a little kid are Chinese people. They are the smartest people in the world. Okay? And they got over 1 billion of them in China just thinking about ways to screw over the United States. And TikTok is what they're doing. They're doing many other things too. But the dangers that TikTok brings, I know it sounds insane to a lot of people. How could some app, and now they got the other one I've been trying to warn people about. What's the shopping app? The Temu. Temu is the TikTok, it's a CCP op, okay? And it's TikTok gets to young people. Temu is an app by the CCP, and they lure older people in through low prices. And even though I've told her this many times, just yesterday my wife got a package, something she bought off Temu. And I couldn't believe how cheap it was. She got something really nice for like nothing. So what the Chinese are doing through Temu, it needs to be banned with TikTok. They're getting people that are older to buy things you can buy on Amazon for like pennies on the dollar, so that people that would never use TikTok will have Temu on their phone, and Temu does the same thing that TikTok does, and no one's talking about it. It's like I remember back in the 90s. Do you know what the sign of the end of a stock market bull run is? They used to say when you would see the bull on the cover of Time magazine, it was over. Okay? So while everyone's going after TikTok, they're still doing all their work through TikTok. They got the same op going on through the Temu shopping app. That's Chinese spyware too. So this most sophisticated Cold War that is ever, I don't know how cold it is when they're bringing the fentanyl poison into our country, the Chinese. But what the Chinese are doing in this Cold War that we're having through TikTok and Temu, and the southern border is China. I'm going to share something with you. I wasn't even going to get into this, but I heard them talking about TikTok. It's at the top of the hour news. and I wanted to get some more detail about it to you guys. The Cold War operation that China is waging just through TikTok and Temu and the southern border during the 3 years of this senile old coot, Joe Biden's and Obama's presidency here, is more successful than the entire 40 years of the CIA worldwide operation against the Soviets during the Cold War. And part of the problem is no one's talking about it like I'm talking about it. Oh, China's mine. We got to get rid of it. No one's talking about that Temu thing. And I went on there. My wife's got it. I went through I couldn't believe that I didn't buy anything. My wife does, but I didn't. The threat of China is so greater than think about it. They got these 2 apps that have just totally stolen everyone's data on everything. They have all your bank info. They know everywhere you're going. They're probably watching me now because I'm talking about it. Right? They're flooding our country with deadly fentanyl. They started this whole trans, non-binary gender thing in this country. Look at what the Chinese have done. And almost all of it's been done through TikTok. That's it. That's a reality. Now, all right, let's take our first break of this hour. Callers on hold, don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-Kane-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious. Crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade. Nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Hi, this is Gabriel from Florida Cash Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house in South Florida and want to sell it fast for a great price, call me at 561-570-7070. I can pay cash and close in as little as 30 days or a 4 time frame. I can even pay you a cash advance before the closing. I'm a local cash buyer, and I'm looking to purchase more houses. I buy all types of properties in any condition, any price range, in any situation. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I will even buy foreclosures and haunted houses. Woo! Do you own a vacant house or one that is trashed and needs thousands in repairs? Great! I love buying fixer-uppers. Regardless of your situation, I understand that life
In the world at True Oldies FL.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold. Stand by. We'll go to the calls shortly at 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you're listening. Now, I read in the first hour, one of our listeners, Rodney, left me a message. He said he got a MyPillow, and for the first time in 18 years, he's sleeping now. The MyPillow, I remember when I got the MyPillow, the first one I got, by the way, it's just $29.99 with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. You know, the first MyPillow I got, before they were with us and we had the promo code, it was $65. And I remember my wife, I had tried every pillow there was. I had bamboo pillows, foam pillows, everything else. And my wife bought the MyPillow, and I said, $65? I mean, it's a pillow. What are you talking? First night, I was like, it's amazing. It's amazing. You know, I take the MyPillows on the cruise. You know, they have luxury pillows on the cruise ship. They have actually, if you're in my cabin, the cabin level I have, they have a pillow menu with all these different fancy pillows that cost hundreds of dollars, and I sleep on my MyPillow, which is just $29.99 with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. That patented fill inside makes it so that your head doesn't turn around all night. You rest your head down, you stay there. Every time you turn your head, move your head, you are no longer in REM sleep. Even though you may not remember it, you've woken up. It's amazing, this pillow. Just $29.99 with our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, and free shipping. Free shipping on everything at MyPillow.com right now for a limited time with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. All right, so let me get to this story about Trump, and then we'll take some calls. Even though President Trump is winning big, I've got new polls out and just massive leads in the new polls. He took over the RNC from the establishment. Everyone running against him in the primary has not dropped out, but suspended their campaigns, which is probably some legal technicality that allows them to keep all the money. But even though all these things have happened, the fake news media and the Republican establishment are still fighting hard to undermine President Trump with false narratives. There's a big one now. This is an oldie but a goodie. You know, Rush Limbaugh used to say that the Democrats, they have that same old worn-out playbook, and every 4 years they take that old worn-out playbook and run the same plays. And that is so true. And they're running a false narrative that President Trump in an interview said that he's going to cut Social Security and Medicare. And this is an oldie but a goodie. The Democrats, and now the Republican establishment allies of theirs, they love to try to scare seniors that Medicare and Social Security is going to be cut. No matter who the Republican is running, they always run with this. Bush 1, Bush 2, Bob Dole, John McCain. It's all nonsense. And he gave this interview with this guy over on CNBC, Trump. I'm going to play you the guy's very long-winded question and President Trump's complete answer. At no point does he say he's going to cut Social Security and Medicare. I'm going to play for you in just a moment. But even though he doesn't, there's headlines in every news platform and on television saying he's going to do it. And, you know, 80% to 90% of people that read the news don't read beyond the headline. They read the misleading headline. Trump says in an interview he's going to cut Social Security and Medicare, and they believe it. They don't read the story or do what I'm going to do, which is play the audio. And I know this seems like maybe a minor thing. Who's going to believe that? A lot of people. Okay? It's really elder abuse, but the Democrats, their whole party is committing elder abuse. Look at Joe Biden. So terrifying seniors that they're going to lose their Medicare. By the way, changes, anytime they make changes to Social Security and Medicare, it doesn't affect the current people. It affects people that aren't receiving the benefit yet. But anyway, let me play this. And he doesn't say he's going to cut Social Security, and Trump does not say he's going to cut Medicare. I'm going to play the whole thing. This guy on CNBC, very long-winded question. He got Trump on, you asked a 2-second question and let him run with it, but not this guy.
Policy differences, obviously, Mr. President, but one thing that I think that at least the perception is that there's not a whole lot of difference between what you think we should do with entitlements or non-discretionary spending and what President Biden is proposing. It's almost a third rail of politics. And we've got a $34 trillion total debt built up, and very little we can do. And
I mean, this guy's terminal, isn't he? He's talking to Donald Trump live, and he's just blah, da, 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 da. But the reason I'm playing the whole thing is because this is where they say Trump is vowing to cut Social Security and Medicare.
Of cutting spending, discretionary is not going to help. Have you changed your outlook on how to handle entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Mr. President? It seems like something has to be done, or else we're going to be stuck at 120% of debt to GDP forever.
So first of all, there is a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting, and in terms of also the theft and the bad management of entitlements, tremendous bad management of entitlements. There's tremendous amounts of things and numbers of things you can do. And so I don't necessarily agree with the statement.
So that's it. Where does he say he's going to cut Social Security and Medicare? I mean, this is an example of how the fake news operate. Total false narrative that's going to consume the news cycle today. Total false narrative. He said waste. You know, there's a lot. Every once in a while, you'll hear a story about a doctor getting arrested for Medicare fraud. You know how much fraud there is with that? You know what they do is the Medicare billing is all done through codes. So they know what codes to plug in, submit to Medicare, and they get money sent to them. And it's such a big thing, they don't get checked out very often. When they do, sometimes they go to prison. That's the kind of thing. Remember when Trump sent all those breathing machines to New York and they disappeared? They would go in the front. They'd go in the front door of the hospital, and then there was a truck out back waiting to take them off somewhere. He's talking about waste and corruption. You know, these illegals, a lot of them come here, they're illegal, and they get Social Security benefits, and they haven't even paid into them. These are the types of things he's talking about, but no one in the media is focusing in on that. They got this, they're trying to scare seniors again because this is what they do. And I'll tell you though, it's interesting that they do this because it shows that they're failing everywhere, and they have to take this old attack that they've used against every Republican president. Reagan, Bush 1, Bush 2, Bob Dole, John McCain, Donald Trump the first time, the second time, and now the third time, okay? Anytime a Republican's running, this is what he's going to cut Social Security, he's going to cut Medicare to try to scare seniors. I don't know, do seniors fall for that anymore? I think a lot of them do because, I mean, they get scared. That's all they got. All right, we'll take our break and be back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1, Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. The best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
We're still looking good this morning for the Palm Beach commuters. 95 in the Turnpike lane crash free, moving up to full speed between Boca Raton and Jupiter. We are starting to see some buildups still on 95 heading northbound from Deerfield Beach into Boca. Also on the southbound side of I-95 passing Boise Beach Boulevard. On the service streets, we still have a multi-vehicle crash on Gun Club Road and Jog Road. A grass fire at the corner of Military Trail and Forest Hill Boulevard. And further south in Broward County, 95 northbound Fort Sample Road. Emergency vehicles are blocking the left lane. Delays are running back to Cypress Creek. This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies. To thank you for your 40 unforgettable years, Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. Save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus powered by Intel Core processors and more. Save now at Dell.com/deals. That's Traffic on Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come celebrate St. Patrick's Day at the Paddock Restaurant at PBKC with live Irish music and a $30 all-you-can-eat Irish buffet featuring Ireland's favorite dishes. And make your plans now for our extravagant Easter brunch buffet with on-track family fun fair. Get your picture taken with Ace the Easter Bunny. On track, we have a petting zoo, face painting, cornhole, and gym mining. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Brian Craig here. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. With a AAA credit rating and bonded up to $10 million, Laporta Contracting doesn't need a large deposit like those other contractors do. Typical deposits other contractors want are 1/3 of the contract. If your job is $30,000, that's a $10,000 deposit. If your job is $300,000, that's $100,000. What are they doing with your money? Typically, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get a permit, and HOAs, much longer. If they need money for the materials, they don't have credit with the suppliers, and that spells bad news for the homeowner or HOA. Tom Laporta is honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. Laporta Contracting has been in the roofing and contracting business since 1988, and his services cover the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Tom Laporta can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com.
Easy Pay Tire Store in Boynton Beach says, be a silent hero and give the gift of life. Please donate blood soon. It's safe, simple, and it saves lives. This message from Easy Pay Tire Store at 619 North Federal Highway in Boynton Beach, your local Goodyear tire and service professional. They provide the best in tune-ups, brakes, batteries, AC refill, and the great name of Goodyear Tire. For prompt, dependable service, call them at 561-732-2696. That's Easy Pay Tire Store, proud sponsor of the Spring Blood Drive.
Millennium Jet Card is a privately owned luxury executive jet charter service offering competitive rates for domestic and global private air travel. Say goodbye to annual membership fees and restrictive contracts. When you choose Millennium Jet Card, just sit back, relax, and enjoy your journey hassle-free. Your go-to choice for exclusive event transport with over 25 years of expertise in the private aviation industry, Millennium Jet Card operates strategic locations in Florida, North Carolina, Texas, and the West Coast. Millennium Jet Card can take you to the hottest events of 2024, including the Super Bowl, the Indianapolis 500, the Kentucky Derby, NASCAR races, the World Series, concerts, family events, weddings, and so much more. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy your journey hassle-free. Call Millennium Jet Card today, 561-779-7073 to learn about their exciting events. Millennium Jet Card, 561-779-7073, 561-779-7073.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Call any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Cool Springs. The prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment doctors and no prescriptions needed. You then have to be 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now in Boca at any lab test now of Cool Springs. There's lots of new lab test nows around. Use the name too advertising on our radio stations. Don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Cool Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
Oh, before I get to the new stuff, Trump had some tremendous victories in court yesterday, which I'm going to talk about. But before I do, one thing I forgot to mention about the TikTok. So I told you, not one call on TikTok. People don't care, but I'm going to tell you. When I told you that if your grandkids or coworker, they connect to the same Wi-Fi as you, China's in your phone, it's not just your phone, it's all your computers, okay? So I'm here at the radio station. Somebody here in the building is on the public Wi-Fi in the building. They've got TikTok. China's in my phone. I go home. I log on to my Wi-Fi at home on my phone. China's on all the computers in my house. That's how TikTok works, guys. That's how bad it is. All right. So President Trump, major victories in court this week, okay, with these court cases. And I want to go through a couple of them because they're huge. There's two of the biggest cases are the documents case and the Fulton County case. And something new was confirmed and reported yesterday in the Fani Willis RICO case that shows that not only will Trump's charges be tossed, but all the other defendants too. Now, I don't know what happens to those Jenna Ellis types that made deals because they pled guilty and stuff. I don't know what happens with that if they get tossed. But the Fulton County case with Fani Willis, which has a lot of problems, we've been hearing this, it's all centers around this phone call, right? Trump made this phone call, and the recording became public. Well, the recording of the phone call was illegally recorded. The recording of the phone call that was released was recorded by someone that was on the call in Florida. Florida is a two-party consent state. You have to disclose it. Right? If you're on a phone conversation with someone in the state of Florida, you have to disclose that you're recording it if you're recording it. And then they released it. So, not that Trump did anything wrong, because he didn't do anything wrong and there was nothing wrong with what he said in the phone call. But even if there was, and there wasn't, the evidence in that case was illegally obtained. That means the evidence is tossed. Boom. It's out. It's out. You can't prosecute any of these people with evidence that was illegally obtained. Right? Isn't that how it works? Well, I guess if your name's Trump, it doesn't work. But that's been confirmed by the Federalist yesterday. It was reported about, 6 months or a year ago by the Gateway Pundit, but the Federalist is, I trust the Gateway Pundit, and they're accurate 99% of the time. There's only one story they had that was not accurate, something about Mueller that they reported that was inaccurate. But everything else I've seen them report was accurate, and I think they retracted that. But the Federalist confirms the Gateway Pundit's investigation. The phone call in the Georgia case was illegally recorded. That means the evidence gets tossed. I mean, when on Law and Order, they say fruit of the poisonous tree, right? You say that on Law and Order all the time. There's no evidence now. The phone call is out. How can you continue with any of those cases? Well, there's 19 of them, right? The Trump 19. If there's no evidence. Phone call illegally recorded. Here's the story. This is the update that came out yesterday. A new report, this is in the Gateway Pundit, a new report in the Federalist confirmed the Gateway Pundit's reporting from over a year ago. Wow, it's been a long time. That Brad Raffensperger's office committed a crime in January 2021 during the Georgia Secretary of State's office phone call with President Trump on January 2nd. Joe Hoff of the Gateway Pundit discovered back in February of last year that Jordan Fuchs, who was the Deputy Secretary of State in 2020 of Georgia, who was on the call with President Trump, taped the call from Florida without announcing it. This is a criminal act since Florida is a two-party consent state. You must notify an individual before you record them in Florida. You've got to say, I'm going to record this call. Is that okay? And they must say yes. Jordan Fuchs did not do that. And by the way, Jordan is female, Jordan, when she recorded President Trump speaking on the call. Her second illegal act was destroying the audio recording. It was later discovered in her computer's trash folder. So she illegally recorded the phone call. She knew what she did, and she tried to destroy evidence. The Federalist yesterday, with reporter Molly Hemingway, confirmed this. This is what Molly Hemingway reported. A new book from Mike Isikoff and Daniel Klaidman admits that a widely misunderstood phone call, no doubt about it, on which Fani Willis's prosecution is resting, was illegally recorded. Molly Hemingway writes, that means the entire prosecution could crumble, with defendants having a new avenue to challenge Fani Willis in this lawfare case. And that's it. They got no evidence. It was illegally obtained. Then, that's one case. There's 3 cases that, devastating news. Second case is the January 6th case in D.C. against Trump with Jack Smith. Right? This is the January 6th case. Now, it turns out that, you've heard that Liz Cheney covered up evidence from the public. That lunatic girl that they brought up, what was her name? I've forgotten her name. Cassidy Hutchinson, who, let me play this. This is amazing. So the Fani Willis case, they got no evidence, illegally obtained, right? This is Cassidy Hutchinson. And a lot of the January 6th case in D.C. is based around the January 6th committee. And remember this testimony?
A very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Ornato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
And was Mr. Engel in the room as Mr. Ornato told you this story?
He was.
Okay, so that's Cassidy, and this J6 case in D.C. centers a lot around the January 6th committee, right? So Cassidy Hutchinson, now we knew this wasn't true because it's physically impossible, but Cassidy Hutchinson testified, and that was Liz Cheney, you heard, that was questioning her, that Trump lunged into the front seat of the SUV that was driving him around, and that he and the Secret Service man got into a physical struggle. Can you imagine Secret Service in a physical struggle with the President of the United States over the steering wheel? The driver has come forward and said that is 100% untrue, that she completely perjured herself in front of Congress. Cassidy Hutchinson lied to Congress. Now, here's the best part. Liz Cheney was in the room when he testified, not on television, when the driver testified that Cassidy Hutchinson lied, that none of that was true. Liz Cheney was in the room when he testified to that, and they did not allow it to be a part of the record. They suppressed that information, that the driver said that was totally fabricated, because it would discredit everything else she said. So we got Fulton County, the evidence is tossed. January 6th, their star witness, totally blown away. Then, so these are their 3 big cases, Fulton County, J6, and then the third one is here in Florida, the documents case, which is complete nonsense. So the judge here in Florida is about to toss the case, right? You've seen this. About the judge in Florida in Fort Pierce, the federal judge, she was appointed by President Trump, and she's about to throw the case out. And they're panicked about this because they thought they got him on this. Now, all of a sudden, I get up this morning, I go to the news, and I see this headline. Trump's valet, who worked at Mar-a-Lago for 20 years, comes forward publicly and admits that he carried boxes of classified documents into Trump's plane and is willing to testify in the Florida case. Oh, really? He carried boxes of classified documents? And then he said anyone had access to the boxes. Now, of course, that's absurd because Mar-a-Lago is a fortress guarded by federal agents 24 hours a day, every day of the year, even when Trump's not there. And there's a massive 12, 15-foot wall around the whole thing. It's got the ocean on one side, the Intercoastal Waterway on the other, a wall around the rest, and, of course, the Secret Service. And they have machine guns. I've seen them over there. Now, all of a sudden, as the judge is about to toss the case, this comes, and how does he know what was in those boxes? Did he look at the classified documents? If he did, he may have broken the law. But you see what's going on? So these 3 major cases they have are all falling apart, and they're falling apart quickly. Now, you wouldn't know this by watching the media. You got to watch different things and put the pieces together on your own or just listen to me. But these cases are evaporating. And the closer we get to November, the more and more they're going to evaporate, because what's going on are these rats. They're like the rats on the Titanic. The water's coming in and they're running for survival. Trump's coming back. Their plot is sinking, and they're terrified. That's what's happening. All right, we're going to take our last break of the second hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Have you put off buying new tires?
This is insane.
Happened is Walt left before me, and he never goes direct.
This is insane. This is insane. I had to go tell Mike something that you guys couldn't hear. So I had to take the mic off. All right, if you are in pain, you need to go see Dr. Appleton. It's Tuesday already, and if you were a little more active over the weekend than you are during the week, and you have some aches and pains, go see Dr. Appleton. You can go see him this morning because appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome. His laser away pain treatment works, guys. It is 100% painless. There are no injections, no drugs, no downtime. 100% painless, and it works. Arthritis, bursitis, bronchial neuralgia, hip pain, knee pain, lumbar pain, back pain, muscular contraction, herniated disc, you name it, it works. Walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. I tell you, he's rid me of pain 5 times, and you can go see him too and be like me, pain-free. Dr. Appleton's number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. All right, so this documents case that's about to be thrown out, during the break, I go to the Drudge Report, and this is the headline on the Drudge Report. Trump employee number 5 speaks. See, this is what the propagandists and the fake news media do. This is what they do. Okay, this is why I say the Trump 19, it's to make fun of what the Democrats do. They think if they put a number on it, it makes it sound... Putting a number on it makes it sound scandalous. Trump employee number 5. Now we know who they are. Oh, employee number 5 speaks. Oh. You know, if you look at these different employees that they've interviewed at Mar-a-Lago, remember the one on the servers? This, you know, when I was up at Mar-a-Lago a couple weeks ago, I was walking around the president's pool, and I picked up my phone. I called my wife. I said, I'm standing by the pool that they said Trump drained into the computer room to destroy the video. You know, the servers that are like 4 to 5 feet off the ground. It's so ridiculous. So, Drudge Report, Trump employee number 5 speaks. Oh, well. Now let me play this. It's a CNN interview. I clicked the link, and it says, here's the CNN headline, Trump employee 5 who unknowingly helped move classified documents speaks out. Oh, I've not heard this interview yet. I'm going to play it cold and we'll talk about it.
What happened is Walt left before me, and he never goes directly to the plane. He's either in the motorcade or when he goes there with the boss, which the former president. And
okay, now I want to tell you this. There are tells. You've heard about tells in poker. It's kind of like radar. You've heard of gaydar. There is Trump derangement dar. I don't know a better name to call it right now. But anyone who refers to President Trump as former President Trump or the former president, anyone who uses former in connection with the rest of the name of President Trump is somebody that has Trump derangement syndrome. While I know that it is technically accurate that he is the former president and he will be again, since when do people go to such pains to say former President Clinton? Oh, the former President Clinton's here. The former President Obama's here. Nonsense. Only with Trump. So anyone who says that is a never Trumper. I don't care who they are. Okay? Let me go back to this.
And he left the club with, I didn't know what he had in his vehicle, but he waited for me at a nearby business, and I told him I would tell him when I was leaving Mar-a-Lago. So I left Mar-a-Lago. I texted him, hey, I'm on my way. He followed me. He pulled out and got behind me. We got to the airport. I ended up loading all the luggage I had, and he had a bunch of boxes.
You noticed that he had boxes?
Oh, yeah. They were the boxes that were in the indictment.
Yeah, now imagine this. President Trump, he lives at the White House, and he's moving back to Mar-a-Lago, and there's boxes. Well, you know, what else is he supposed to move with? You know, and they've created this thing that the boxes are all classified. Greg Kelly on Newsmax last year did the best explanation of this. He went through the indictment. When you see these photographs on the news, they show you like the bathroom, boxes stacked to the ceiling. They show you a stage at Mar-a-Lago, boxes everywhere. And what they're saying is these are classified documents, that he took a warehouse worth of classified documents, and they're all over the joint. And Greg Kelly went through the indictment. The number of classified documents in the indictment are a little less than half of one box that is a box that copy paper comes in. You know, like if you go to Office Depot and you buy a box of copy paper or printer paper, a little less than half of one of those boxes are the documents in question. These other boxes, these hundreds and hundreds of boxes we see are, I don't know, President Trump's toiletries, his shoes, his socks, his underwear, I don't know. But the media and their propagandists are out there constantly trying to make you think that all these boxes are classified documents. And you know what? They know they're not. They know it's less than one half, much less, really maybe about a quarter, but less than one half of one box that is a box the size of copy paper, because that's the size of the documents.
And then what happened is Walt left before me, and he never goes directly to the plane. He's either in the motorcade when he goes there with the boss, which the former president.
Oh, here we go with that again.
I remember telling him he left the club with, I didn't know what he had in his vehicle, but he waited for me at a nearby business, and I told him I would tell him when I was leaving Mar-a-Lago. So I left Mar-a-Lago, I texted him, hey, I'm on my way. He followed me, he pulled out and got behind me, we got to the airport. I ended up loading all the luggage I had, and he had a bunch of boxes.
You noticed that he had boxes?
Oh yeah, they were the boxes that were in the...
Ooh, boxes.
Bankers' boxes. That's what I remember loading.
And did you have any idea at the time that there was potentially U.S. national security secrets in those boxes?
No clue. No, I had no clue. I mean, we were just taking them out of the Escalade, piling them up. I remember they were all stacked on top of each other, and then we're lifting them up to the pilots.
How many boxes was it?
You know, they asked me in the interview, and I believe...
Now, this annoyance in the background asking these questions is that Caitlin Collins, who was humiliated during the town hall with Trump when he just filleted her. So she's like the new Jim Acosta over there. She's on a lifelong vendetta to try to make up for her national embarrassment during that town hall with President Trump.
10 to 15 is what I remember.
They being the investigators.
Correct.
And when you look back on that now, what do you...
Well, I had no clue until probably the end of June. There's a few different things that happened that kind of opened my eyes to, something's going on here.
So you get that unusual request. Did you ever think to yourself, why were there so many boxes at Mar-a-Lago?
Now, of course, it can have nothing to do with the idea that President Trump is moving from the White House to Mar-a-Lago. It can't be that. And he's got to take all this crap with him. Can't be that, right, Caitlin Collins?
For me, I'm just thinking, the former president, he has a lot of stuff he likes to...
See there with the former president again? You know what I think Trump employee number 5, I don't know anything about this guy. Maybe he keeps saying former president as kind of like, like those prisoners in Vietnam that when they were interviewed, they would do the Morse code with the blinking. Maybe he's trying to send out a message that he's a hostage, that they've intimidated him, threatened his family, done something, and he keeps saying former president. Or maybe he's a Trump. I don't know.
So you get that unusual request. Did you ever think to yourself, why were there so many boxes at Mar-a-Lago?
Because he was moving. Stupid.
I'm just thinking, the former president, he has a lot.
Oh, boy.
Likes to lug around with him. I never would have thought it was anything like what we see now.
Classified documents.
Yeah,
How does he know those were classified documents? Did he peek? Right? And did someone tell him they were classified? Did they say classified on them? And by the way, even if someone told him, that doesn't mean they were classified documents. A lot of people around someone like the president will claim to have all kinds of access to such things. And this whole idea that, well, why did he have all these boxes? He's moving. He's moving. When you guys go on the cruise, there's 2 points that are embarrassing for me on the cruise. When I'm boarding the ship and when I'm leaving. You know why? Because I overpack like no one's business. I have the biggest suitcase that you've ever seen. And it's jam-packed, and I got a couple of them, okay? Because I overpack. I bring too many clothes, too many shoes, too many everything. Because, and that's not even moving. Okay? When someone moves, When we moved from the radio studio in Boca to here, I brought boxes. Yeah. That's what you do when you move. But with Trump employee number 5, they've created some scandal with this. All right, we'll take our break for the top and be right back.
WSFS 104.3.
These people are out of their freaking minds. Okay. I mean, am I nuts? Or they when somebody moves, they have boxes. Why is having boxes filled with your crap while you're moving? Why is that scandalous all of a sudden? When you move, don't you take boxes with you? It's such a joke.
Service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's showtime in the Paddock Restaurant at PBKC with comedian Adam Carolla for 2 nights, March 22nd and 23rd, and Pauly Shore for 2 nights, April 19th and 20th. We also have dinner shows with Penny Nicks tribute to Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks, April 26th. And don't forget to make your reservations for our extravagant Easter brunch buffet and family fun fair on March 31st. For tickets and info, go to
Yeah, it's called moving. My goodness. And those office boxes, they, when you move, you use like boxes that are around. Like you go and, it's ridiculous. Well, the reason I bring so much is because I'm hosting the event and the events and everything, so I want to make sure I got plenty of clothes. I get free laundry on the cruise too, and I still bring too much. I've never used the laundry. I get free laundry though. I know, exactly, Bill. Mar-a-Lago employee number 5.
Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Your techs are highly skilled and professional, and the prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctors order.
How else was he supposed to move? How does Caitlin Collins move? She doesn't use boxes?
The next day in my email box. And I also send to my doctor. There's lots of any lab test styles around, but these are the only.
It cracks me up. And to these Trump derangement syndrome sufferers, that makes complete sense.
Any lab test now at Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any lab test now at Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call any lab test now at Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now at Coral Springs.
It cracks. It's insanity.
And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
Here's your
All right. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve joining us. Steve Kane. Hey, Steve. Well, yeah, you know, CNN, I don't know if you were listening, but CNN has uncovered what they believe is the biggest presidential scandal since Watergate. And that, of course, is President Trump moved from the White House to Mar-a-Lago, and he had boxes with him while he was moving. That's the story. And they got this guy. I'm not making this up. I just played the whole interview. No, he had boxes. He moved from the White House to Mar-a-Lago, and they interviewed this guy, Trump employee number 5, who said that he put boxes in a truck that went to Mar-a-Lago. Nothing. It can't be bigger than somebody moving and putting things in boxes. It can't be bigger than that. Bunch of crap.
The news cycle this morning, they're going to retest Biden.
For what?
Testing the mental testing that they did a couple of weeks ago. The doctor that they brought in that said that he was a grumpy old man and that.
Oh, the cognitive test?
Yeah, he wasn't capable of being tried because he wasn't competent.
Yeah.
Trial. Well, evidently they're pushing that further, and they're going to be doing additional testing. And if that's true, I'm upset.
Oh.
Because I don't want.
He'll pass. They'll make sure he passes the test.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that if that was true, they would have done the additional testing to be.
The test I would like to do on Biden isn't a cognitive test. Is because they'll never let us see that. It would be a drug test, and. The
impression that I got listening to the news source that I was listening to was that they were looking for an excuse to. They're giving up on Biden. They're looking for an excuse to toss him out.
Oh, yeah.
The testing was to get rid of Biden.
Well, he'd have to agree to take the test.
Well, that's where the story is focused right now.
Yeah.
As to where it goes.
And who's going to give the test? Jill?
I think that the people that they're referring to, at least in the story that I was dealing with, the people that were referring to were people now. You
know what I wonder? Okay, I don't know. I know you can't do this with cognitive testing, but drug testing. Can you do drug testing with a saliva sample? Does anyone know? Can you do drug testing with a saliva sample? I know you can do it with hair. Well,
I'd love to get when we go to the phones, we should imagine.
Sometime.
I'd like anybody that's heard that story about retesting Biden.
Well, okay, no, you're welcome to call that. The reason I ask about drug testing with saliva is this, because Jesse Waters was even talking the other day on the 5 that Biden looked like he was coked up when he was at the State of the Union. Every time Biden goes to speak somewhere, they have a glass of water there. And they leave those glasses of water behind. So all you have to do is go to an event where he's speaking. When he's done, go to the podium, take the glass of water, and do a saliva test on it. If you can do drug testing on saliva. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, out there. If anybody's read it and knows what I'm talking about.
Okay. Now, and of course also the greatest political scandal since Watergate, the president moved from one house to another and moved his items in boxes. And of course this is quite scandalous. CNN dedicated a primetime interview to this. If anybody has any information on that, why did he have boxes while he was moving from one house to another? I have a couple polls. I'll get to them in a bit. Let's take some calls first, and then we'll get to a couple of polls. And our number, by the way, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's from Jupiter.
You sure?
Well, yeah, I'm a little bit confused right now because I'm currently in Riviera Beach. Just help me out here. let me know if you think this is a little strange. There's an early voting center in a warehouse complex, and I'm behind.
Yeah.
And I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
9, 10, 11, 12 enterprise trucks lined up to drop something off behind the polling place.
What county are you in? That's in Palm Beach County, right? Well, I voted in Palm Beach County, early voting for President Trump on Sunday. Okay, it's electronic. It's electronic voting, touchscreen. Well, I don't know, but it's electronic touchscreen voting, so it's not ballots. No, they were. It's the early voting is touchscreen at the early voting locations. Well, I don't need to know. I'm just telling you, it's touchscreen voting. I mean, I could cause a conspiracy, but I'm not going to do that. It's touchscreen voting. I voted on Sunday. I haven't seen. By the way, I haven't seen touchscreen voting in a long time. It's kind of weird. It does print you out. It printed out a receipt. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Henry, West Palm Beach. How you doing, Frank?
All right.
Hey, to answer that guy's question, those trucks are to move the...
To move the what? The voting machine. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was in the moving business for years, and every once in a while we help out doing it.
Well, people have reason to be paranoid. I understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We totally understand, but we forget what company has the contract.
Okay.
Company.
Mystery solved. Now, since you're in the moving business, you were in the moving business. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. You're perfect for this time. CNN has Trump employee number 5. The primetime interview said that Trump moved from the White House to Mar-a-Lago and brought boxes with him, and this is some type of crime. You're in the moving business. When people move from one house to another, don't they typically use boxes, or is this highly unusual behavior for someone who's moving to use boxes? I'm serious. Are you sure? Now, you're a moving expert.
I moved government people.
And okay, so when people move from one house to another, they use boxes or don't use boxes?
They use boxes.
Then why is CNN doing a primetime interview with a mover saying there's scandal because President Trump used boxes to move from one house to another?
The move doesn't match their narrative.
Yeah, exactly. All right, appreciate it. See, look about that. Everybody retires to Florida, so we have experts in every field in this audience, right? Because everybody moves to Florida. All right, now after the break, I'll go through the polls I have, Steve. Okay, and obviously Trump's winning in every poll. Surprise, surprise. But we'll go through them. The couple that I have that are new, the most recent ones, and also. Yeah, these are all brand new. The State of the Union. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number 1-888-465-2631. So we've got a guy from the moving business who has said that when people move from one house to another, they do use boxes. Okay, so maybe Caitlin Collins at CNN is not aware of this. I don't know. All right, we'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO.
All right, and on the line from the Siegel Law Group, Attorney Barry Siegel. Good morning, Attorney Barry Siegel. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing well. Good morning.
Great. What do you have for us today?
We are a law firm that does planning. We do estate planning. We do elder law, which is the Medicaid planning for long-term care. So the key word is planning. And there's different types of planning that we all should be doing when it comes to planning for our financial future. And, of course, estate planning is part of that. But the other parts of it, the other important parts are making sure that you have a investment or financial plan, a retirement planning, insurance planning, tax planning, and, of course, estate planning. And when we're talking about planning all these different financial areas, we're talking about planning to have a better future, and a better future for yourself, a better future for your loved ones. And that's really what estate planning is all about. Setting things up so that you don't have messes in the future, setting things up so that your wishes come true, so that the right people are going to inherit your assets and the wrong people won't, so that we won't have to deal with the courts for probate or guardianship, so we have the right people in place making decisions for us if we're not able to do so. That's what we're talking about, and that's why it's so important to make sure that it's done. And even when it's done, it's not always done because things change in our lives, and that's why it's so important to have an updating system, which of course we do at the Siegel Law Group for our clients, so that they never have to worry about having an out-of-date estate plan, because we do free reviews every 3 years, and our goal is to make sure that your plan, your better future, is going to happen, because that's our plan for our clients, is to have an estate plan that works.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you never know when these things are going to come into play. I woke up this morning, my oldest friend in the world sent me a text message of a photograph of him in a hospital bed and looking like he's on death's door. You never know when these things are going to come into play. And he's a single guy. I don't know who's making medical decisions. I bet, do single people make arrangements for non-family to make medical decisions often, Barry? What happens?
Single people can and should have the documents in place, powers of attorney and healthcare documents. They could choose family, they could choose friends, whoever.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm worried about my friend because he's single, and if his ex-wife's making the decisions, she's going to pull the plug before I get off the air. So he needs to. I hope he's. I'm trying to make light of a bad situation, but you got to take care of things. You don't want your ex-wife making your medical decisions, guys. I'll tell you that. All right, give attorney Barry Siegel a call. And of course, it's a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard attorney Barry Siegel on the program, the number is toll-free, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782. And if you missed the number, just go to the website, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week. All right, we'll be right back.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and...
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Our number 1-888-465-2631. Okay, I got a couple of polls here I'll share with you, and these are all key polls. But we got to remember, we're still in primary season, guys, okay? And have you voted early yet, Steve? You should. You should. And, early voting, there's no lines. You walk right in, and all the... It's so important, guys. All these people that dropped out are still on the ballot here in Florida. Vivek Ramaswamy, DeSantis, Asa Hutchinson, they're all there. And, of course, President Trump's name is last on the ballot. So we need... Don't think, well, they all dropped out, it's in the bag. No, it's not. And we need that number to be as high as possible to send a message. So the first poll here, I'm not going to do a bunch of state-by-states, but the latest state-by-state is North Carolina, and that's an important one. Trump's at 50, Biden's at 45. But this is, and in Georgia, Georgia is also another big one, okay? There's 3 state polls that are new. North Carolina, of the 3, is the least significant because we expect him to do well there. But I also have Georgia and Arizona. Okay, and those are very important states. In Arizona, Trump at 55, Biden at 45. And that also means Carrie Lake's in good position, right? She's running for Senate in Arizona. And Georgia, This one's very important. We got the Fannie Willis thing. That's all falling apart. In Georgia, Trump is at 58. Biden is at 42. That's in Georgia, okay? Now Polymarket, and this is all available at Interactive Polls on Twitter. The Interactive Polls has become the polling news outlet of record. In fact, do you know what when I went to Mar-a-Lago, Steve, do you know what Donald Trump puts on every table at Mar-a-Lago? The latest polls. The printouts of the polls. Yeah, every table was a printout. It was a booklet, and and I thought that was pretty cool, huh? I mean, who wants dinner? I want to see the polls. But the latest polls, and this is an amazing poll, Steve, because this has every possible scenario. It's Trump, Biden, RFK Jr., Gavin Newsom, and Michelle Obama. Okay? So it's Trump against everybody that you could possibly have. Trump is at 52. Biden is at 35. RFK Jr., Newsom, I love that name that President Trump gave him. Don't you like that, Newsom? Is that good? And Michelle Obama all have 3%. So the latest national poll is Trump 52, Biden 35. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. All right, let's go. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Steve. I'm from Montgomery County, Pennsylvania.
Hey.
Philadelphia.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you? Hi. Hey, Steve. How are you?
Good.
A friend of mine sent me a message on Instant Messenger on Facebook, private message, and I wanted to verify it. And I went to Twitter, and you know the name Juanita.
Yeah, Juanita Broderick. She's a friend of mine.
Okay.
By the way, Juanita Broderick was twice raped by President Clinton. And if you wonder how do you rape her twice, he raped her, and then when he could perform again, he did it again.
Right, I understand. Anyway, she posted, get ready, tomorrow morning is going to be lit. Robert Herr will be testifying against the committee Tuesday as a private citizen.
No. Is that the one? Is that the one that's talking about retest because they wouldn't bring charges against him because he wasn't mentally competent?
Yes, that was Robert Herr.
Okay, hold on. Juanita Broderick tweeted that. I'll pull up her Twitter and I'll get more information.
Story that I was talking about. It sounds like the one that I heard.
And Juanita Broderick has it on her Twitter. I'll look it up. So don't we have who needs Google, Steve? We got an audience.
I'm telling you that.
She posted it at 1:40 a.m.
Oh.
Surprised you.
Okay. No, I got it right here. She put Juanita Broderick posted this at about 2 a.m. Okay, and this is what Juanita Broderick tweeted: "Get ready tomorrow morning." That would be today. She did this at 2 a.m., but can we assume that is today? Okay, tomorrow morning is going to be lit. 10 a.m. C-SPAN. Robert Herr, H-U-R, he's Asian, resigned.
Conducted the cognizant test.
Okay. Robert. Okay. He's like a medical doctor. He's not like okay. Robert Herr resigned from the Department of Justice and will be testifying against Joe Biden before the House Judiciary Committee Tuesday as a private citizen. Well, that's okay. I guess we'll all be watching C-SPAN at 10 a.m.
I have mental break from the time your show's over until C-SPAN. I'll run around the house and get everything done.
No, hey, listen, I can't know everything, and I appreciate you bringing that to my attention.
No, of course not. And I figured that would be something you would definitely be interested in.
Oh, yeah. I'm interested. Absolutely. Yeah.
But it's horrible. Wait a minute. But it's horrible. That's the story. Excuse me. That's the story I was talking about. And what it means is they're trying to set it up to get rid of.
That's not going to happen. But that's not going to happen.
Well,
It's not up to them to do that. He and Jill would have to agree to it, and they're not going to do that.
story though. The story is the court's demanding it.
By the way, Robert Hur is not a doctor. He's a lawyer. It says I'm looking up his bio here. See, you're watching news in the making, all right? Let's see here. He's a lawyer, and he was appointed by President Trump to be the United States Attorney for Maryland. That's Robert Hur. So I don't know, but the stories you're reporting are true. Here's the story in ABC News. Robert Hur on Tuesday, that's today, will face lawmakers eager to question the findings of his year-long probe into President Joe Biden's handling of classified documents, an investigation that ultimately absolved the president of legal culpability but left him with a trail of political liabilities. I'm reading from ABC News, guys. Hur wrote a 388-page report published last month that he would not recommend charges against President Biden despite uncovering evidence that he willfully retained classified materials. In the course of explaining his rationale for that conclusion, Hur included language critical of Biden's mental acuity, saying that a potential jury would likely find him to be a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Okay? According to sources close to Hur, he is expected to address his decisions to include the specific anecdotes about Biden's memory and dispute any suggestion that he violated Department of Justice policies by doing so. His position was bolstered by a senior career official at the Justice Department, who in a letter sent to Biden last month put back on it. It goes on. Okay, so this is the guy that actually did the questioning, and if I remember correctly, he said that Biden didn't even remember he was president at one point, right? Didn't he say that, Hur? Yeah.
But they're demanding the new tests, and the new tests, I think what the impression I got in reading the original article is that they are attempting to use these tests and the retesting to to remove Biden.
Well, they can't make him take a test. He's president. He doesn't have to do anything.
Well, I'm only...
Right? No, I know. I'm not just, but they're not going to, it's not going to happen. But Hur's testimony, I do understand he's one of us, right? President Trump appointed him. And they'll use that to discredit him, but he's the one that actually did the interview and came up with that determination, so that it'll be interesting.
But
he's a lawyer, not a doctor.
He's coming up with a new...
Well, I think what we'll get from him, now this is... I think what we'll get from him is more detailed, crystal clear descriptions of the interview process with the examples of the memory lapses.
What they're trying to do is dump Biden.
Well,
it was a...
Yeah, well, when you're apologizing to rapist murderers,
have to sell it to Biden.
Never going to happen. They'll never be able to sell it to Jill or Biden. You guys in the audience can agree or disagree with that. Jill Biden and Joe Biden will never agree to that.
Great, so break out the popcorn and we'll sit and...
Oh, I can't wait to hear. No, hey caller, thanks for that information. Yeah, go ahead.
Something else real quick.
Yeah.
I sent you a message on Twitter. A movie called Let Me... You might enjoy it.
Okay, I'll check it out. Okay, I'll check it out. Okay, we'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Major expressways in the Palm Beach is still crash free at this time, but we're seeing heavy delays now 95 over Turnpike heading northbound from Bridgeville reaching the Boca, so we're taking the train show 441 instead. Usual buildups now in the Turnpike north and southbound between Southern Boulevard and 110 and also 440 winners north of the land. This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Bonus savings on top brands and better sleep for all the local Mattress Firm stores and family sale. Create a save up to $700 with your extra discount. You even get a free adjustable base on select beds. Plus, if you see a lower price, Mattress Firm will match it. Restrictions apply. That's traffic.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come celebrate St. Patrick's Day in the Paddock Restaurant at PBKC with live Irish music and a $30 all-you-can-eat Irish buffet featuring Ireland's favorite dishes. And make your plans now for our extravagant Easter brunch buffet with on-track family fun fair. Get your picture taken with Ace the Easter Bunny. On track, we have a petting zoo, face painting, cornhole, and gym mining. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should? Men, do you feel like you are aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
Millennium Jet Card is a privately owned luxury executive jet charter service offering competitive rates for domestic and global private air travel. Say goodbye to annual membership fees and restricted contracts. When you choose Millennium Jet Card, just sit back, relax, and enjoy your journey hassle-free. Your go-to choice for exclusive event transfer with over 25 years of expertise in the private aviation industry, Millennium Jet Card operates strategic locations in Florida, North Carolina, Texas, and the West Coast. Millennium Jet Card can take you to the hottest events of 2024, including the Super Bowl, the Indianapolis 500, the Kentucky Derby, NASCAR races, the World Series, concerts, family events, weddings, and so much more. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy your journey hassle-free. Call Millennium Jet Card today, 561-779-7073, to learn about their exciting events. Millennium Jet Card, 561-779-7073, 561-779-7073.
Brian Craig here. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is immunocompromised, you need to call Tom LaPorta at LaPorta Contracting. With a AAA credit rating and valued up to $10 million, LaPorta Contracting doesn't need a large deposit like its other contractors do. Typical deposits other contractors want are 1/3 of the contract. If your job is $30,000, it's a $10,000 deposit. If your job is $100,000, it's $100,000. What do they do with your money? Typically, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get permit. With HOAs, much longer. If they need money for the materials, they don't have credit with the suppliers, and that spells bad news for the homeowner or HOA. Tom LaPorta is honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. LaPorta Contracting has been in the roofing and contracting business since 1988, and the services cover the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Tom LaPorta can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom LaPorta can do it. Call Tom LaPorta right now on his cell phone, 954-642-6642, or online at LaPortaContracting.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, callers on standby. Let me clarify what I was saying, Steve, because we were up against the break and didn't have time, and why this is a good thing. while Joe and Jill Biden, she's a mob wife and he's a mob boss, right? While they're never going to agree to any of this, what's going to happen is something you never see. You're going to see, we're seeing it already in the media, but you're going to see it intensify, okay? There's division in the Democrat Party for who's going to get the nomination. That is unheard of. Now, Jill and Joe are never going to do it, but the damage that they do to Biden by pointing out how out of it he is while they're fighting publicly, that'll help us, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, the money you put that.
Yeah, does that make sense? Okay.
To this point, let's just say through the contra.
Yeah.
What went on in the State of the Union has been Biden versus Trump is been the battle line.
Yeah.
Now it is going to switch, and it's going to be establishment Dems versus Biden.
Correct. And they're hitting at him at something that everyone knows is true. He's checked out.
Doctor.
Yeah.
The test comes in.
Yeah. Now, but no. Her's an attorney. He's not a doctor. But he questioned him and knows that he didn't know he was president. He'll go through the details of that. Things that we may not have been privy to.
Right, but in terms of the conflict, it's now between the establishment Dems and Trump.
Oh yeah, it's brother against brother.
Yes.
And it's very self-destructive for the Democrats.
It's going to decimate.
And nothing like this has happened ever, not publicly at least. All right, I'm going to take the calls to the best of my ability in the order in which they were received. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jersey Mike from West Palm Beach.
Hey, Mike.
Doing a great show again, as I usually say. Terrific. I really enjoy it. Better than watching any TV or other nonsense. Very enjoyable. Listen, as far as Donald Trump is concerned, a lot of people don't know this about him, but he went to military academy.
Yes.
I think you learned a lot of his discipline, because I'm Navy, and that's where you get a lot of discipline when you're in the service. And from that point forward, I think he's just absolutely brilliant. I mean, take a look at when he got arrested in Atlanta, Georgia. He got out of there, and he took his mugshot, and in 3 days he made $2 million on selling coffee cups and T-shirts. $19.95 for the cup and $29.95 for the T-shirt.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. Okay. I've never seen anybody like that before in my life, but I'm an old guy. I'm 70 years old now. Kennedy on when he got assassinated. Right? You know all the details. I think you're a walking encyclopedia or a walking Google.
Yes, walking Google. That's me.
I'm Pat.
Yes. Yeah, I'm walking Google. Yes.
There you go.
All right, man. All right.
I know somebody who knows him personally, and he's a really down-to-earth guy. The man I know did all the welding of his copper gutters on Mar-a-Lago. So meet him also.
The copper gutter guy. You got to meet who? The copper gutter guy or President Trump?
He's my roommate. His name is.
Oh.
And he did all the welding for the copper gutter.
You have a roommate now?
Yes.
Why does a 78-year-old man have a roommate? That's a little unusual.
Friends. We ride motorcycles. He rides and I ride a Harley.
You guys aren't married?
No.
Are you?
Yeah, we're married to our dogs. And let me just.
Oh. Yes.
He knows this, but a big dog ranch is the no-kill ranch, or is a no-kill animal shelter across the United States. The only one that does not kill animals. All the others do, including, I don't want to mention the other names, but they're big places.
Including the no-kill shelters, they kill them too.
One does not, and I know that for a fact. And the reason why I know that is that they got a lot of buildings out there. It's all the way out at the end of Okeechobee Boulevard. It's the way
yes.
Trip. There's a building back there, and I know the veteran very well. And I know what's true is true. We never really deceive each other.
See, you got me not to ask the follow-up question. You know, are you gay?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I was just asking. 78, two guys Two guys. No, well, that's why I was thinking. Well, listen, I'm not giving. There's nothing wrong with being gay. I was going to ask because we've got gays for Trump.
I like it.
Oh my goodness.
Let me think.
Oh, he doesn't want to talk about the gay thing.
More.
Yeah.
One, we separated, but the dogs do this.
Oh my gosh, back to the dogs. Friday's open phones. Friday's open phones. He wants to get off the gay thing. What's that old joke? My first wife died from eating poison mushrooms, and my second wife died because she wouldn't eat the poison mushrooms. What's that? Do you guys remember that joke? I don't know. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Two guys living together in their 70s, not married, no kids and dogs. I think gay. Don't you think gay? Wasn't everybody thinking gay? But he's not gay. All right.
Do I really have to follow that there?
IB.
Follow that? Oh my goodness. Hey, Uncle Steve, good morning. How are you, old chum?
Do you remember that? Do you remember that, Mike? I'll tell you about the lesbian board op thing. Do you remember that we had this board op? We had a girl board op, okay? And she used to wear flannel shirts. And I was talking to her one day on the air, and I said, "Why do you dress like a lesbian?" You'll remember this story. I said, "Why do you dress like a lesbian?" Did I tell you this, Mike? Ever tell you this? And she complained to the station, and I had to record an on-air apology. This is when we were at iHeart in Miami with Peter Bolger. I had to record an on-air apology for asking her why she dressed as a lesbian, and they aired it at the top of every hour for 24 hours. And they didn't give me a script. They told me just to do it. So I went in the production room. I remember her name was Lindsay. And I said, "This is Brian Craig. I asked Lindsay on such and such a day if she's a lesbian. Lindsay is not a lesbian, and I'm sorry that I asked her if she was a lesbian. Lindsay is not a lesbian." And it played at the top of every hour for 24 hours. By the time it happened, everybody in the radio audience of South Florida thought Lindsay was a lesbian. But, anyway, I don't know. When you protest too much, people think. Anyway, IB, yes, you got to follow that.
Yeah, couple of months.
Oh, my God. I love that story. I told that one? Oh, no. I love that story, though.
I would like to comment on the guy from yesterday, but first, it's kind of...
Which one?
Moving this week. I'll let you know that in 1 second here. I was kind of thinking of moving this weekend, and I think boxes are too much trouble. I'm just going to get the old big black hefty bag, or perhaps just drop my pillow sheet and just throw it over my shoulder. I think that looks pretty attractive.
Well, boxes, if you move and you use boxes, CNN believes that is suspicious, and you may be breaking the law.
Can you imagine the talk if we would actually have something in black plastic bags? They will be like laughing and carrying on for a week on all the different shows, talking about the optics of the bag. They gotta fill the time, okay? They have to fill the time on them lying shows.
No, yeah.
Hey, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Get back on here. How do you feel about the fact that they're trying to jettison Biden at this point? I mean,
oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. Steve said, no, it's great.
Comments from both sides. The reason it's horrible is because we will never find another candidate as easy to beat as Biden.
But no, Steve. The reason it's great. The reason it's great is because Biden's never going to step aside, and they're going to do so much damage exposing his mental problems. It's going to be beautiful.
The key is who's going to end up being the candidate.
Biden.
Takes it away from I hope so.
Yeah.
Biden.
IB, we got to run. IB. We'll be right back.
The Cold.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking?
Metals looking very good. Yesterday we saw gold trade in a range of $2,174 all the way up to $2,185, and close out the day up $3.20 at $2,181.80. Great day for metals, holding very nicely in this range. Silver was up 17 cents, closing out the day at $24.43, while platinum gained $24 at $9.36, and palladium was up $9 at $1,014. This morning we've seen gold trading in a range overnight from $2,167 on the low to $2,182 so far this morning. The market was down about $15 at one point, and then the CPI numbers came out this morning, and were pretty much a little bit more than expected. The inflation data showing that the inflation is not coming down, and gold has now run back up to be down just $1.80 right now at $2,180, down 80 cents. I'm sorry, at $2,181, $2,181 on gold right now.
Wow.
Silver up 12 cents at $24.55 the ounce, staying nicely above that $24, which was a resistance number before. Seems to be support there now. And platinum down $10 at $9.26. Palladium up or down $12 at a.
Absolutely. And, of course, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or give him a call directly. Again, he opens up at 10 a.m. Toll-free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll touch base tomorrow. All right, we'll be right back.
The social justice warriors for breakfast now.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Now, I want to tell everyone about this incredible offer at Slomin's. You know, Slomin's is going to give you a free home security system valued at $1,500 with professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. All right? You get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 10 entry points, a lifetime service plan, professional installation, backup battery, and you'll also get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Slomin's Shield. Give them a call. Here's the number, 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. All right, now before we go back to the phone, Steve, since the infighting from now until the convention will be beautiful, and they're going to do, Steve, let me tell you, we know what his mental condition is, okay? Joe Biden's mental condition is, if people that get their news from MSNBC, Democrats and CNN don't, they think he's with it. And when we have a few months of MSNBC and CNN reporting to their liberal audience with examples of the mental decline of Joe Biden, that's going to be breaking news to them. This is beautiful. But they're going to tell millions of people that don't know that he's checked out. Democrats don't know what we know about Biden's mental problems because they don't report it in the liberal news.
But that's the thing that's going to start to happen now. It's going to start to be reported.
Okay.
You know, look, it'll cause morale problems. There's no question of that.
Yeah.
Important thing is getting Biden as the king.
Yeah.
Because he's the more easy, obviously the easiest one to beat.
Okay, now we'll go back to the phones. I hope Lindsay doesn't call in. We'll find out how she turned out all these years later. All right, let's go. Oh, my gosh. I remember you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Tampa Bay.
Hey, long time no hear.
Yeah. I just came across something you were talking about TikTok. I just came across something that President Trump has flipped his position on banning TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And after meeting with some hedge fund investor in ByteDance, I remember Trump did the thing in 2020 to
mm-hmm.
Now he's flipped and says, "Oh, Facebook is taking over now."
Yeah. So what's his position now? You're saying he's working with TikTok, using TikTok.
No, I did not say he's working with TikTok. I said he has said no. Our government should not ban the use.
Yeah, because President Trump is very, very smart. Why do you think he did that? I know why. Why do you think he did that?
Because he met with this hedge fund finance.
No.
For money.
No. That would make him a criminal. That'd make him a crook. That'd make him corrupt. No, that's not why. That's not why. The reason why is he has two senior advisors. Charlie Kirk and Vivek Ramaswamy. And their mission, working together, is to get Trump the youth vote. And young people use TikTok. They use TikTok like crazy, and they are trying to save Western civilization, not just our country, but our entire civilization, and they're going to use TikTok to do it. Not because he met with hedge fund people.
All right, well, the big red menace is infiltrating, so...
Well, no, it's here. He can't ban it. He's not president yet. But he can use it as a tool for the youth. I mean, TikTok is huge with young people. He's got Charlie Kirk and Vivek Ramaswamy are huge on TikTok, and he's using it to save our country. Isn't that a good thing?
But it's going to cause the information crash.
He can't ban it. He's not president.
End up as a detriment to the nation.
He can't ban it. He's using the enemy. Listen, think about this. He's using the enemy's own platform against them.
Well, I don't have TikTok on my phone, and I don't have Temu on my phone, although no one has told me.
Yeah.
It's information off.
Well, when you're convinced, then we'll all be safe. All right, take care. Not long enough, That's the board op that drank all the beer, Steve, during the hurricane.
I remember.
Mike, our board op here, he's like, you got so many board op stories. Board ops are a weird crew, man. I tell you, board ops, that's, boy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Ricky from North Carolina.
Hey, Ricky.
Hey, man. Brian, I was going to ask you if you could give me like a 30-second teaching lesson.
A teaching lesson? Oh, my goodness. That's the kiss of death. That's the kiss of death.
No. I'm there. I was never into politics until President Trump was running for president, and so some things I don't understand, like the RNC thing. Like in my mind, I'm like, how is he running it if he's not like a senator or
Well, the RNC is not. It's not for elected officials it's the Republican Party. And he's got his Bobby Kennedy now. In President Trump's first term, his Bobby Kennedy was his son-in-law. Now, in the second term, Lara Trump, his daughter-in-law, is his new Bobby Kennedy, and she's overseeing the RNC now.
How did they get that? How did they do that?
Well, how did President Trump? Because the RNC's main mission is supposed to be fundraising and getting Republicans elected. What they've been doing, the RNC, since Trump came down the escalator, the RNC has been trying to make Republicans lose elections so that the Republican establishment can maintain control of the party. So what Trump did, he bankrupted the RNC. He told people a couple years ago, stop giving your money to the RNC, donate directly to me. And they went broke. First off, the donors know Trump's going to win, so he bankrupted them. He took away, and they started to default on things, and now he's taken over.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Like last week, you mentioned that about him mentioning that he asked people to do it. I was still kind of confused. Okay, thank you, Ron.
All right, I appreciate it. No. Great call, great information. A lot of people don't know. It's just that teachable thing is like the kiss of death on the radio. When people on the radio think they're teachers, that's what Rachel Maddow thinks she is, Steve. She thinks she's a college professor and she's teaching her audience. You know what I mean? It's arrogant and death on the air. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. Brian, I'm so glad that you have all this information from everybody who is obviously...
Hold on. Your voice is muffling. You're muffling there. You speak clearly into the... Yeah. That's not cell phone reception. You just muffle.
Trump's a crook. He's a criminal.
No, Trump. I didn't say that. Trump is not a crook. Trump is not a criminal.
Just to put that out there, okay, everybody, how come a lot of people in his circle, why do these people end up doing time? Like everybody in Trump's circle.
You're talking like Peter Navarro yesterday was ordered to report to federal prison.
Where you put that?
They're called political prisoners.
weapons.
Dissidents. Political dissidents.
Also, too, pal, if Trump was so rich and all these things and all this stuff, he should just put all these fines and say, oh, it does no damage to me.
Really? He just paid $94 million in a bond the other day. Sounds pretty rich to me. He didn't even blink. He just, there, $94 million. I'd be retired on an island if I had $94 million.
A New York man. You know, New York people told him he got up to pay up. So.
You know, Tom, you are as incoherent mentally as Joe Biden right now. You understand that?
No problem. Joe was pretty feisty the other night, too. I thought that was funny. Hey, you know, if they're going to push it in the range and we're counting M&Ms at the...
Here goes the mumbling again. If he mumbles it, he says nothing, you know, like the parents on Charlie Brown, he thinks that people believe he said something. What are you saying? Stop Do you have someone in the car that you're trying to impress?
Oh, okay, you know.
Really? What does that mean? Everyone around Trump does what?
The blame. They said Trump had somebody always did. You know, you're absolutely right.
This is what happens. This is what happens, okay? They can't get to Trump because he's president of the United States and he has unlimited financial resources. When it's a regular person like Peter Navarro, they don't have executive privilege, they don't have presidential immunity, and they don't have $10 billion, right? So they can't, so they end up going to prison for nothing because they're, but...
Tell you, it's from Cohen to everybody else, it's everybody else but Trump. You're absolutely right.
Listen, Peter Strzok, hold on, I'm going to talk to you like an adult, which you should enjoy because I doubt people do it often. Peter Strzok in those texts with his girlfriend, Lisa Page. Lisa Page said to Peter Strzok, she went to the store and bought a copy of All the President's Men, and All the President's Men, the book by Woodward and Bernstein about Watergate, was going to be their guidebook on how to handle Trump. So what they've done is they go to different people like Peter Navarro and Michael Cohen, and they figure if they get enough people around the president with their lawfare arrested and put in jail, it'll give the illusion that he's a criminal since so many people around him have done time. That's why they do that.
All right. I just have no idea. I'm so...
Well, I on that point, we'll agree. You have no idea. I agree with that. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy, Steve, I tell you. You know, the liberal callers are devolving on this program. Have you noticed that? I mean, they're just all losing their minds. Well, you might think that, but then again, maybe they're just trying to sound like mental defects so that Biden doesn't sound so bad. Yeah, we're all like this. We're all checked out. We're all deranged. We all don't know what's going on. They're trying to make Biden's level of mental acuity the new normal. So maybe the liberals call in here and sound mentally incompetent to make it seem like Biden's okay. Oh, my goodness. Ugh. All right, listen, we are out of time for today, but we'll follow that hearing today on C-SPAN. May be exciting today. We'll find out. I appreciate the caller giving us some detail on that because I thought that was it's very important stuff. All right, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, is here. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m.
WSFS 104.3 HD.
All right, guys, I got to run. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. And those of you that are already subscribed, like the video if you don't mind.